Billy Hancock.
If you would pull that thing. Yeah, there you go.
And Mr. Hancock, if you'll spell your first and last name for the court reporter, please.
Billyhancock.
Mr. Hancock, how are you employed?
Ocilla Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with the Ocilla Police Department?
26 years.
And what is your job for the Ocilla Police Department?
I'm the Chief of Police.
And how long have you been the Chief of Police for the Ocilla Police Department?
I've been law enforcement for a total of 34 years. I've been police chief for 26.
Now, with regard to Ocilla, what county is that in?
Irwin.
I want to direct your attention, Chief Hancock, back to October of 2005 specifically. Are you familiar with a person by the name of Tara Grinstead during her life?
Yes.
And how was it that you knew Ms. Grinstead?
I was introduced to Mr. Grinstead probably in the late 90s. She was a girlfriend of a former police officer of ours.
All right. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 7. Ask if you'll look at that photograph, please, sir. Oh, sorry, let me make that 8. Sorry. Sorry. State's Exhibit number 8. Ask if you'll look at that, please, sir. Are you familiar with the person shown in the photograph, State's Exhibit number 8?
I am.
And who is that?
Tara Grinstead.
Is that a true and accurate depiction of Ms. Grinstead as she looked during her life?
Yes.
All right. Now, what did you know Ms. Grinstead to do there in Ocilla?
She was a history teacher in high school.
Judge, at this time I would tender State's Exhibit number 8.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
All right, it's admitted.
Yes, ma'am. Now, with regard to Ms. Grinstead and the week that she went missing in October 22nd, 23rd of 2005, did you come to have a reason to go to her residence?
I did.
And why was it that you went to the residence of Ms. Grinstead?
I received a phone call from her neighbor, Joe Portier.
Now, Mr. Portier, when you got the phone call from Mr. Portier, what did you do?
After receiving the phone call, I drove to 300 West Park Street where Tara lived.
And what was the concern with regard to Ms. Grinstead at that time?
She had not reported to work, and they were at the residence looking for her.
Now, Chief Hancock, when you got to the residence, who was there?
Joe Portier was there, Larry and Dina Harper.
And when you got to the residence, did you go inside the residence?
I did. I met with them in the front living room.
And what was your purpose of going inside the residence?
I wanted to try and find out more information based on what they knew related to her not showing up to work.
Was Tara at the residence when you arrived there?
No, sir, she was not.
Did you know Tara to have a vehicle?
She did. Her car was parked under the carport when I arrived.
So in State's Exhibit number 9, and ask if you'll look at that, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with State's Exhibit number 9?
Yes, sir.
And what is that?
That's a picture of the front of her house with her car parked in the carport.
When you say her house, whose house are we talking about?
Tara Grinstead.
Is that a true and accurate depiction of her residence as it looked as you saw it back in 2005?
Yes.
All right, this time I would tender State's Exhibit number 9.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, this is admitted.
Now, Chief Hancock, when you went to the residence, what did you do when you got to the residence?
I spoke with the three of them in the living room, and they told me information related to the reasons they were there.
Now, did you go through each room of the residence?
I did.
And what was your purpose of going through each room in the residence?
Just did a walkthrough for them to show me what they had found, basically to show me that Tara was not there.
Did you notice anything in the residence that caught your attention?
No, not immediately.
Okay. And did something catch your eye at a later time?
I mean, the house looked, if that's what you were asking me to explain about the house.
The house, yes, sir.
The house looked normal. I didn't see any signs of forced entry. We did walk through the residence. As I walked through the house and down the hall, I walked past the bathroom. I remember seeing a phone on the floor in the bathroom. I walked a little further down into the bedroom. I remember seeing her bedroom. The bed was unmade. Lots of various jewelry and clothing laying around on the floor. I saw her phone by the nightstand and articles of clothing on a bench close to it. There was some other type of jewelry and clothing on various areas of the floor.
Now, once you kind of went through the residence, did they show you anything else at the residence?
Nothing inside that I can remember.
Did you go outside the residence then?
Yes, sir.
All right, and did you notice anything outside the residence?
Yes, actually, I noticed the glove.
And where was it that you noticed the glove?
The glove was just a few feet from the steps, walking to the pathway of her front door.
All right, I'm going to show you two photographs. Chief Hancock previously admitted into evidence as State's Exhibits 1 and 2. And ask if you'll look at those. Are you familiar with what's shown in each of those photographs?
Yes,
And what is shown in each of those photographs?
a glove, latex glove.
Does that truly and accurately depict the glove as you saw it there at Ms. Grinstead's house that Monday in October of 2005?
It does.
Chief Hancock, looking at State's Exhibit number 1, are you able to see that on that screen there in front of you? Or
Yes, sir.
where in the photograph is the glove?
It's to the right of the round paver, and actually it's between it and a small hardwood tree, and you can't see it in the photo, but well, you've got it adjusted, but it's to the right of the paver.
Now, with regard to this photograph, where at Ms. Grinstead's residence is this photograph taken?
Her front yard.
I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 2. And what is that?
The same photograph, it's just well, they've actually leaned and took a direct shot of it.
Now, with regard to seeing this photograph and the things that occurred at the residence, what did you do as a result of seeing those things and not finding Ms. Grinstead there?
I called for our detective, Bill Bars, to come to the scene, and after he arrived, I filled him in on what knowledge I had, and told him that I thought we should call the GBI to help us.
And when you say call the GBI, who are you referring to as to calling the GBI?
You mean, who am I asking to?
Just first, what is the GBI?
Oh, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Okay. And what is it why is it that you would call in the GBI in this particular case?
Resources, they actually help us from time to time when we need help on various, if it's a homicide or a missing person or some serious case.
And do you recall who it was specifically that you called with the GBI?
I'm not 100% certain who I talked to that day.
Right. But you did speak with someone at the GBI?
Yes.
Now, after calling in Investigator Bars with the Ocilla Police Department and calling GBI, did you stay at the residence?
I didn't stay in the residence but about 20, 30 minutes at the most, and I went back to the office to trying to find out more information related to Tara.
Do you recall what specific date this was back in '05?
Yes, sir, October 24th, 2005.
Thank you, sir. Nothing further.
Mr. Farr.
Deputy, even after the matter was turned over to the GBI, did your office still continue to receive tips, information, and things like that throughout the years?
Yes.
When that information would come in, would it be documented?
As far as I knew, yes.
Okay. Are you aware whether prior to 2016, a gentleman by the name of John McCullough ever called your office to give any information related to the Grinstead missing persons case?
What was the name again?
John McCullough?
No, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you can step down.
Thank you.
You call your name.
The state calls Bill Bars. Yes, sir. You just remain standing, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you're about to give before the court in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you tell us your name, please, sir?
Bill Bars,
And just spell your first and last name for the court reporter, please.
Billbarrs.
And Mr. Bars, how are you employed?
Currently with the City of Ocilla Police Department as School Resource Officer.
And how long have you been employed with the city of Ocilla as a school resource officer?
3 years.
How long have you been in law enforcement total?
June will end my 22nd and start my 23rd year.
Now, I want to direct your attention specifically back to October the 24th of 2005. How were you employed at that time?
I was with the City of Ocilla Police Department as a detective sergeant.
Now, when you were employed as a detective sergeant with the Ocilla Police Department on October 24th of 2005, were you a post-certified law enforcement officer at that time?
Yes,
And who is Billy Hancock?
he's Chief of Police.
Was he the chief of police for you there at Ocilla Police Department back in October of 2005?
Yes,
Now, specifically on that Monday, October the 24th of 2005, did you receive a call from Chief Hancock?
I did.
And after you received that call, what did you do?
I met him at 300 West Park Street, Ms. Grinstead's residence,
And what town was that residence in?
in Ocilla,
And what county was that residence?
Irwin.
Now, I want to show you Mr. Bars, the state's exhibit number 9. It's been previously admitted into evidence. Are you familiar with what's shown in that photograph?
Yes, sir, that's at 300 West Park Street.
And with regard to that, is that the way you remember seeing the residence when you arrived there on that Monday?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you got to the residence on that Monday, what did you do?
Chief Hancock had briefed me on kind of why he was there and what was going on. I walked through the house, looking around, see if anything really stood out to me. Come back out and got my camera out of the truck and started photographing the residence and collecting any evidence that might have been around.
Now, with regard to the residence itself, did you notice any signs of forced entry to the residence?
I didn't notice any.
Did you look for that?
I did.
And with regard to the residence, what, if anything, did you notice about the inside of the residence?
Really, nothing that really stood out to me. I mean, the bedroom, there was kind of some clothes laying around. in the bedroom, but other than that, I didn't really notice anything that really jumped out at me.
Okay. Now, moving to the outside of the residence, did you notice anything outside of the residence?
Yes, there was a glove laying, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 feet off of the front porch.
All right. And what, if anything, did you do with the glove?
I collected it as evidence.
Okay. And tell me what it is, what you do to collect it as evidence.
Retrieve it, bag it, seal it, fill out a property evidence receipt for it, and in this case, it was turned over to the GBI.
And with regard to this glove, did you collect it that day and seal it that day?
Yes.
And so what did you seal it in?
Paper bag.
All right. And was it sealed at the time that you collected it?
Did I seal it right when I collected it? I put it, I don't recall. I know I put it in the cab of my truck and locked it up. To the best that I can remember, I photographed the residence and then took it back. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I sealed it when it was when I got back to my office.
And after you sealed the bag that the glove was in, you turned it over to the GBI?
Yes.
And it was still in the same sealed condition?
Yes.
All right. I'll show you two photographs. That being State's Exhibit number 1. Are you able to see that photograph?
Yes, sir.
And tell me what we're looking at there.
It's the glove.
Is that the location where it was when you collected it?
Yes.
And I'm showing you State's Exhibit number 2. Tell me what we're looking at here, please, sir.
A glove.
Is that the same glove that you collected and sealed yourself?
Yes, sir.
Now, Investigator Bars, were you part of doing any kind of official crime scene there at the residence?
When it was turned over to the GBI, I kind of hung around, and whatever they needed me to do, I basically took direction from them at that point, since it was their case.
So once the GBI was called in, did you stay there at the residence until the GBI arrived?
I don't remember if I left and then come back. I can't remember.
But at some point you came back and assisted the GBI with
Yes.
the crime scene, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Mr. Fox?
Do you happen to remember the names of the GBI agents that you were talking with and turning this information over to?
Dominic Turner was the main one. I can't remember. I mean, there were so many that was in and out. I know Bill Baudry was in and out at some point in time. Of course, Mr. Rothwell was in and out at some point in time. Jeff Rossler was in at some point in time. So there were so many. I can't specifically sit here and say I specifically talked to this one or that one.
It was something that the GBI took very seriously, and they sent a lot of agents and a lot of manpower to deal with.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir.
Nothing else, Ron?
All right, you step down.
Thank you.